I understand that you've had significant growth over the last 3 to 5 years, and that growth has come both organically and inorganically. And I do want to cover both sides of the growth coin. Let's start with organic, and I'll open this up to whomever wants to take the first pass. What has been the most significant driver of organic growth for Coldstream?
It was about 4 years ago. So I've been with Coldstream 5 years, and the first year was really about trying to understand who the ideal client for Coldstream was. And we did a project for the entire firm right in the middle of COVID. Everyone was getting used to Zoom. And we did a big 2-day project with the entire firm talking about our ideal client. And I think that's actually helped foundationally for us to ensure that all of our advisors were out talking about the same value proposition and talking about Coldstream where we are today and also where we're trying to go in the future. I think that's started a conversation that may not have been as broad as it is today. In other words, it was a conversation that we had, probably like many firms, some individuals who were really good at organic growth, getting out there and doing business development. But now it's a conversation company wide. Everybody knows the strategy. Everybody knows that it's an initiative that we think a lot about, and so we've just got a lot more participants getting out there, bringing in new clients.
That can be difficult to define an ideal client profile for a firm of your size and scale. I think today you sit at over 14 billion in assets under advisement. It's a large business. You've done M&A, so you've brought in different businesses into one firm. So coming together as an organization at that size can be challenging to figure out what are those commonalities between your clients and understanding that of course there's differences too. So was that process simple, or were there any learning opportunities? Were there any challenges that you experienced?
I think the key to that exercise, yes, it was difficult. There were a lot of opinions. One of the great things about the people here is they're not afraid to share their opinions, which can be fun. But we deliberately define the ideal client as the bullseye, sort of the perfect client. Obviously, you need clients around that, and so Coldstream's also organized by teams, and that actually also allows us to have each team have a different niche. So David might talk about, for example, they have a lot of dental practices that they work with. That might look different than Seattle, where you might have Microsoft, Amazon clients, these tech folks with a very different financial planning opportunities. What's common amongst all of that with our ideal client is these are families with complexity. Maybe they have children, maybe they have dogs, maybe they have boats, cars, all of these things. Their life is changing rapidly. They're super successful and busy. And so we wanted to create a bullseye that allowed us to serve all of those needs. And again, some folks have more needs than others, but we've built the business, our processes, our operations around serving the complexity of busy families.
And David, I can imagine this is something that you think about every single day in your role. And so, as Josh mentioned, it sounds like there's greater accountability for growth across the organization since you went through this exercise in 2020. You have a team structure, and there's a clear vision of where we're headed and what's expected as we're marching towards our growth goals. But what does that look like for you? Like, how does that show up for you in your day to day as the Chief Growth Officer at Coldstream?
Meg, I think it ties into making sure everyone sees the common vision of what we're trying to do as an organization, taking care of our existing clients, taking care of our team members, rewarding shareholders. Having that common vision really means that everyone has to see that growth is the responsibility of everyone. And through that lens, you have to talk to each wealth manager and identify what is their personal why for wanting to grow. It's really easy to get caught up in servicing existing clients, going that extra mile for that particular client you're seeing that week. But identifying the why helps contribute to their personal motivation, their team motivation. Are they looking for more personal compensation? Is it they want to be a part of a team that's winning? Do they want to see the stock price go up? But centering around what's going to be the difference on helping each wealth manager step out of their normal routine and do those few extra activities every day, getting those more at bats, growing their skills, is really a core piece of what I think about every day in terms of aligning everybody, but everyone's starting from a different point in time and a different skill set. So it's really piecing it all together so that we're all aimed at down the lane together.
And how do you do that at scale for a firm of your size? I mean, knowing every individual employee or teammate's why that's pretty deep work. I'm curious to know how you do that at scale.
Fortunately, as Josh mentioned, we are organized in teams, and there's 10 teams across the Northwest. So if I can do a really, really good job of finding the champions on each team, whether it's the team lead, it's the people who are native with business development skills and it's in their DNA, and helping them coalesce around where the firm's trying to go overall, then I can lean on them to help downstream with the other wealth managers on their team. And then we do group events. We do cross-team events on a monthly basis. So trying to hit it from a shotgun as well as a targeted rifle approach.
Got it. And when you're tracking organic growth, specifically organic growth on a year-over-year basis, what are you looking for coming in? You're tracking net new asset growth, but are you looking at different sources of that growth and tracking success of each source on a year-over-year basis?
Aggregately, we are tracking and looking at where it's coming from. But what's great about being in a team format is each team and each wealth manager might focus on something slightly different, whether it's having clients become raving fans and you're being very intentional about introductions to their personal network. We have some of our wealth managers that are very strong with centers of influence, and they're out there drumming up conversations on a regular basis. And then we have several wealth managers that are really good at affinity development, and they focus all their time out in the community and passion projects that they have. But in a perfect world, half of our new clients should come from taking care of our existing people, maybe 25 to 30% from centers of influence, and the remainder from affinity development out there playing in traffic.